KenGen. Welcome to KenGen. Welcome. The chairman of KenGen is here with us already. Karibuni, thank you for coming. Thank you very much for that. I would want us to just start with the protocols to just recognize who is here and appreciate their presence. First of all, our chief guest, whom we are expecting very soon, on behalf of the National Treasury PS, Kamau Thuge, we are going to have Esther Koimet, who is going to join us here very shortly. Next, Dr. Engineer Joseph Joroge, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. KenGen board members, led by our very able chairman, Mr. Joshua Choge. Members of the board of the NSC who are present here, led by their chairman, Samuel Kimani. KenGen MD and CEO, Engineer Albert Mugo. We are also honored to have our former chairman for KenGen, Mr. Titus Badi, who is here with us today. And also the former chairman for the NSC, who also happens to be the immediate former MD for KenGen, Edward Joroge. We also have with us here the chairman of GTC, Gershon Otachi. This CMA CEO, whom we all know, Paul Mudaura. Rose Mambo, CDSC CEO. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. Good morning. Today is really a big day for KenGen. This process began at the launch of the rights issue, and most of you, as I see, were there. And now it culminates here at the NSC. And I just realized this morning that the NSC and KenGen actually were born in the same year, 1954. And today, we are both over 62 years old. If you look at that board, you'll see a number of messages. I believe that was when Geoffrey Odundo and his team were celebrating the big day. So it's really interesting for all of us to now converge at this particular venue. We will be taking this discussion online, and we are continuing with our hashtag, #IChooseKenGen. So I implore upon all of you, those who are social media friendly, please log on and join us in this discussion. Without much ado, I would want to welcome on stage the CEO of NSC, Geoffrey Odundo. A round of applause for him.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NSC. We've never seen a crowd this large. Especially and comprising also the previous champion of the KenGen and at the NSC. I think when I see Eddie here, it's amazing that the number of issues he's brought to market, and also being the CEO, being the chairman of the NSC, is just amazing. It's a history in its making. So we're glad to have you. Excuse our security arrangements. We wanted to make sure this issue is highly protected. But we need a very expensive square mile. That just tells you all the president lives around us. So feel privileged to be here. So again, thank you for coming. We are delighted to have you. At the NSC, we are happy to see the KenGen rights issue become a huge success. KenGen for us has been what you call a catalyst in the market. When they came in 2006, they brought in a new feel, especially on the retail investment space, with our subscription on the KenGen IPO, which went from a listing price of 11 to 49. And that sparked the beginning of IPO over subscriptions. We've never seen an era like that, and I think KenGen was really instrumental to delivering that. The KenGen P-IPO that came in 2009 again, brought in the very first time, a huge number of retail investors. Again, it just went on to bring another feeling in the market. We've not seen another time like that. And today, it's an historic day, the largest rights issue ever on our market. So I think the KenGen board and team, you deserve a very huge applause for that. So we are glad to have this listing today, and we are pretty confident that it only shows that capital markets continue to remain a viable channel for capital raising. And we'd like to encourage many, many companies to also tap into our markets. It also just shows how Kenyans are beginning to resonate with investments in their infrastructure projects. I was just sharing with the GDC, with the team upstairs. We went to Nigeria, and really, they envy what we're doing on our energy space. In Nigeria, when you get a job, part of your benefits is a generator. That was amazing. So I think we've done a good job. Chairman, former CEO, I think the leadership you've given us in that direction has been awesome. So it's pretty nice to have all of you here today. We look forward to having a very successful listing, and we really want you to be part and witness this historic moment. So with those few welcome remarks, can you allow me to invite our regulator, Paul Muzaura, to come and make his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. Thankfully, I'll just skip ahead and say all protocols observed to save some time. And also to appreciate Jeff for covering some of the key milestones that KenGen has really walked through this market with, so I can really abbreviate my speech and save a bit of time. But I think certainly KenGen's journey has genuinely been a journey for the capital markets. We are marking today another very significant milestone in a decade of very significant reform and development in our market. As he mentioned, the IPO, more than 300% oversubscribed. That IPO introduced another almost 300,000 new investors coming into the public markets and really created this new energy that participating in the capital markets was not for the elite few. It became a genuinely retail opportunity to engage, to participate, to generate wealth. The people really marked the introduction of electronic trading for debt markets in our market, and it really transformed our turnover ratios and moved us very much from what was a very nascent global bond market to having some of the most competitive turnover ratios on the continent, and certainly set a journey for us to move forward in the world. Now, in KenGen coming back to the market today, we really see this as a reassertion by KenGen of their critical role as a pace setter in using the capital markets to leverage financing to drive infrastructure growth. And I think as the authority, and it's a conversation we've long had with Albert and the team, is really that we continue to urge KenGen to continue to walk down this journey as a pace setter, as a trailblazer, to really start exploring what are the opportunities for alternative capital markets products that they'll be able to leverage to continue to grow on this journey. When you look at the phenomenal funding need in the infrastructure space in our country, we continue to see securitization or asset-backed securities as really the next step that's going to allow companies to raise long-term, sustainable, transparent capital off balance sheet, to allow them to be much more strategic in the manner in which they're channeling funds, and also creating structures that can introduce or attract a much broader spectrum of potential investors coming into the market. In that context, the authorities have been working very aggressively with the National Treasury to make sure that asset-backed securitization can exist in as conducive an environment as possible. And therefore, I hope you're all aware that the Cabinet Secretary has already exempted all transfers of assets as part of a structuring of a real estate investment trust, asset-backed securitization, from stamp duty, and is currently taking under consideration the exemption from VAT for the same kinds of transactions, which will really move us very progressively towards making asset-backed securitization a truly tax-neutral product that can support infrastructure growth and development. I think, as you may have heard during the Cabinet Secretary's budget statement just last month, he made reference to a program that's underway to enable all Kenyans to have universal access to safe water and sanitation by the year 2030, which is being coordinated by the Kenya Innovative Financing Facility, for water, and they are one of the issuers who are already in discussions with the authority and looking at how we can use securitization and ABS to be able to effectively fund long-term sustainable infrastructure financing. I think in that context, I'm also very pleased to confirm that the authority has been working very constructively with the World Bank IFC at effecting a complete overhaul of the asset-backed securitization framework for the country to make sure that it can be sufficiently flexible to respond to different issuers' financing needs and structuring needs. We believe that with the implementation of those new statutory amendments and the supporting regulatory framework, certainly with the support of the National Treasury, we look forward to really seeing a much more conducive environment for infrastructure funding in line with the capital markets 10-year master plan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think the Kenya government must be commended for the support they have continued to show for the authority in developing and deepening the capital markets and ensuring that the capital markets will be able to play their genuine and effective role in supporting the meeting and delivery of the Vision 2030. And as such, as was said by Jeff, we really encourage more listed companies to follow in the footsteps of KenGen, to source funding for the public markets, and further urge many of the private companies and potential companies out there to come on board to look at the opportunities and structures that are available to raise market money through the domestic, regional, international public markets. Now, noting the central link between the attainment of the Vision 2030 and the success of devolution, the authority is working with the National Treasury towards the unveiling of a policy sensitization paper, which will be distributed to all county governments to help them better understand what are the avenues available to them to use project-based financing to leverage capital markets financing. This is certainly being supported by an extensive investor education and public awareness program, which has seen the authority hold forums, media campaigns, roadshows, and roundtables with county leadership, youth, women, investment groups, and community-based organizations across, as it stands now, 34 counties in this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, I wish to reaffirm the authority's commitment, with the support of the government, to providing a facilitative environment for issuers, investors, and market players to participate and prosper in the capital markets industry. The authority remains focused and committed to ensuring capital markets players really play their cardinal role in facilitating the realization of Vision 2030 and the delivery of the 10-year capital markets master plan. Therefore, in closing, on behalf of the board, management, and staff of the authority, I wish to very warmly congratulate KenGen for this very significant feat and look forward to continue to working with you to deepen and grow our capital markets. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. And now I want to welcome the man himself, the MD and CEO of KenGen, Engineer Albert Mugo. A round of applause.
Our chief guest, who will be representing the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, our Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, Dr. Engineer Joseph Jeroge, the Chairman of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Mr. Kimani, the CEO of CMA, former Daura, who is just here, the board members of NSE, the board members of KenGen, and other invited guests. Before I make my remarks, I would like to first introduce my board members who are here. Please, if you can stand so that our guests can see you. I would like to recognize your presence. These are the board members of KenGen, and because they will not be able to make remarks, I would like to see them because we've been working on this together. And please be seated. I would also like to recognize the KenGen staff who are here with us today. Please, if you can stand, just so that the guests can see you, the KenGen staff. Yeah, this is my team who've been working on this project, and we are here to celebrate this morning. So please be seated. On behalf of KenGen, I'm pleased to welcome you here this morning to the bell ringing ceremony marking the start of trading in the new shares following our successful rights issue. Allow me at this point to record my appreciation to the government of Kenya for taking up its full rights through the conversion into equity of approximately 20.2 billion debt that KenGen owed the government. This noble gesture, right from the launch of the rights issue, greatly contributed to the impressive results of the whole transaction, as shareholders took the cue by participating. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our shareholders for all their unwavering support and confidence in the company, because as we went for the roadshows and town hall meetings, we experienced a lot of support from our shareholders. Ladies and gentlemen, KenGen has continued to post impressive financial results with huge rewards to the shareholders. And in 2015, for example, we allocated 1.429 billion to dividends, a 63% increase from what we had paid in 2014, making our dividend one of the most competitive, reliable, and sustainable in the energy industry. And this is a testimony to the return on investment that our shareholders are assured of, and I want to urge them to continue supporting us in all our endeavors. During the financial year ended June 30th, 2015, because that's the latest we had audited, and we'll be auditing our just recently ended year very soon, the company posted 11.5 billion profit after tax, representing a 308% growth from the 2.8 billion for 2014. And the company's pre-tax profit also grew by 109 to 8.7 billion, up from 4.2 billion in 2014, as we shifted focus to the reliable and environmentally friendly green energy sources, mainly geothermal wind, which contributed as well to the reduction of electricity costs. This growth in profitability is attributed to the increase in stored capacity, improved performance and tax credits from the capital allowances following the commissioning of the 280 megawatts geothermal plants, the wellhead units, these are geothermal wellhead units, and the Gongwed project. And of course, the total revenue grew by about 44% from 18.5 billion to 26.6 billion, with geothermal contributing 46%. At the same period, the installed capacity for KenGen grew from 1,264 megawatts in June 2014 to the current 1,589 megawatts. And the capacity from geothermal sources increased by about 164% from 183 megawatts in June 2014 to 488 megawatts, while the wind recorded about 20, actually a big percentage of 120%, because we grew from 5 megawatts to about 26, which we have today. So overall, the energy sector witnessed remarkable growth in the year as our mega 280 megawatts project was inaugurated, adding the impetus to the government's 5,000 plus megawatts campaign to expand the power generation and access. So clearly, KenGen's ability to successfully plan, construct, and operate power plants is evident in its heavy investment in geothermal, whose installed capacity as of today stands at 514. That is what KenGen is generating from geothermal, and generating more electricity than any other source, currently. Ladies and gentlemen, the heavy investment in geothermal energy is beneficial to our country and the economy at large, as it does not require the importation of expensive fossil fuels. It's also reliable, renewable, and mitigates the risk of power reduction from hydros during the periods of drought. And for the shareholders, investment in geothermal will deliver value as it has got excellent returns. The impressive financial results that I've just reported or mentioned to you for the year 2015, for June 2015, was as a result of strategic decisions and the more focus that we put in geothermal, which attests to what I've just said. And really, as I conclude, I want to commend and thank the government of Kenya for taking the lead in the process by converting its debts to KenGen, to the shares, worth about 20.2 billion, because this is really a testimony that the government has confidence in KenGen as an investment vehicle. And today, it's difficult for me to hide the joy that I feel following the success of the just concluded rights issue. And as you're aware, raising capital, as the CMA CEO has said, has become expensive and way beyond the reach of many companies. But coming to the local market is therefore the way to go. And I wish to acknowledge and appreciate very, very sincerely the efforts of the KenGen board and the management of KenGen and all staff, as well as our advisors who probably at this stage I would like to ask to stand. The people that work with us, the advisors, the SIB and Blair, Rain Cup, Water Contours, many of them are here today. They really work with us and helped us in this project. Please be seated. So I'd like to appreciate the efforts of all of them for the hard work and resilience and the reason that we are here today. Our resolve and determination is to deliver power to this nation and also to deliver value to our shareholders, and we remain unwavering in this effort. And so with those few remarks, I just want to thank you very, very much for coming to witness this occasion, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Albert Mugo. And now it is my honor to invite the NSC Chairman, Mr. Sam Kimani. Karibu. A round of applause as he comes on stage.
Our chief guest today, Engineer Joseph Joroge, the Principal Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. Esther Koimet, the Investment Secretary, Joshua Choge, KenGen Chairman, Engineer Albert Mugo, the CEO of KenGen, Joshua Otachi, who is the yes, Mr. Paul Mudawura, who is the CMA Chairman. My board members, Jose Akili and Jim Nambaro, who are present. Rose Mambo, who is the CDSC CEO. Titus Mbadi, who is the former chairman of KenGen. Edward Joroge, former chairman of NSC and also a former MD of KenGen. Today is a great day for us at the exchange because we are among friends. KenGen was the first company listed its shares here in 2006, and since then they have come to the exchange a number of times. We feel that today's rights issue, which we are going to launch, which was very successful and raised a record 26.4 billion shillings with 92% subscription. This is no mean feat considering the circumstances, as you know, in the economy. With the government took 70% of the issue, and the retail, other investors took the rest. Peers, your government's continued support to our capital markets is a very, very clear signal of the government's commitment to anchor what is one of the goals of positioning Kenya as a financial hub of East Africa as articulated in Vision 2030. KenGen has proven beyond any reasonable doubt that the desire to continue impacting our economy through provision of additional, affordable, clean energy in the national grid. We commend your efforts and to promote sustainable practices in the industry by adhering to environmentally friendly policies which improve resource efficiency and waste reduction through optimal use of resources and waste reduction strategies. The exchange is working on a carbon trading platform that will help local companies such as KenGen sell their carbon credits to foreign buyers and manufacturers. The formal trading platform within the exchange will be an easier way for companies to sell their credits to foreign buyers other than through signing emission reduction purchase agreements. Kenya is now, and this is quite impressive, the 8th largest supplier of geothermal energy with a capacity of just under 600 megawatts. I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Mr. Choge, and your entire board of directors and management on the success of the largest issue in the history of the NSC. The success of the rights issue is a testament of the faith that investors have in KenGen and its future strategic direction, guided by your very able board. Investors will always go out of their way to support a company whose values are embedded in the future of our nation. The extra megawatts which you will be able to provide with this funding will go towards supporting our homes, industries, and creating more jobs in this country. We also know that you have a target to raise the capacity to 5,000 megawatts. And we would like to assure you that the NSC is ready and willing to support you to raise funds to make this a success. Through continuous product innovation, the exchange continues to promote financial inclusion, boost liquidity, and reduce risks for investors through continuous product innovation. This year, the exchange will be launching the exchange-traded funds, working very closely with the CMA. Through the exchange-traded funds, which are EFTs, investors will be able to trade a security which tracks the performance of the index, metals, foreign currencies, and commodities. We will also be launching the derivatives market later in the year. This will offer a wide range of investment channels, but also allow individuals, corporates, and our farmers to have a view of future prices of currencies, interest rates, and prices of agricultural produce. We are currently working on the operating infrastructure, which is sound, and we will be launching this later in the year. The Emakiba bond, which we are all waiting for, is a retail bond on a mobile platform for investment in government securities. The bond will provide a secure investment option for the general public while concurrently enabling them to embrace a savings culture. Your ministry's proposal appears to review the retirement benefit schemes investment guidelines in the budget statement for 2016-17 will facilitate their investment in new products approved by the Capital Markets Authority, including the derivatives and real estate investment trust. This will go further to enhance new markets, increasing liquidity in the exchange. We would like to thank you for the government's continued support of the capital markets and look forward to the launch of the derivatives and the Emma Keeper bond. Let me once again commend the KenGen board, management and staff on the successful completion of the record-breaking rights issue. I would now like to invite Mr. Joshua Choge, the chairman, KenGen, to make his remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, we want to apologize as KenGen for being late because of the traffic jam. When our guests were caught up in the chief guests and were caught up in this jam. We are normally more efficient, and you can see from the rights issue, right? Thank you so much. The Director General, Infrastructure, Public Investments and Portfolio Management, Esther Koimet, the PS, Dr. Njoroge, the KenGen Board of Directors, KenGen MD and CEO, our former chairman, my predecessor, Honorable Titus Bali, and the former CEO, Eddie Njoroge, our esteemed shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Kenya Electricity Generating Company, KenGen, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to this bell-ringing ceremony. My sincere thanks especially goes to the National Treasury for accepting our invitations once again to grace this auspicious occasion. The presence of Mrs. Koimet, the Director General, Public Investments and Portfolio Management, here today, as well as that of the Cabinet Secretary, at the launch of the KenGen rights issue, demonstrates the government's firm commitment to this process. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks another important milestone in the history of our company and the energy sector, where we play a very crucial role and noble role as the market leader in power generation. Our rights issue, the largest ever on the bourse, achieved a 92% subscription, having raised 26.4 billion. The company offered 4.4 billion new shares at 655 shillings each to existing shareholders at a ratio of 2 for each share held to raise the amount. Almost 58.2% of the offer was taken up under additional shares and ramp. All applicants have received 100% of the new shares applied for. Ladies and gentlemen, we are basking in the glory of the success following the achievement of our goals, which has enabled us to redefine the national energy generation landscape. And at this point, I want to thank our predecessor, the chairman and the former CEO and the previous board who set the foundation on which the new board, my board and my other board members have built on to be able to achieve this success. We want to thank you so much for what you did in the previous board. We have shifted our focus to geothermal, which is set to overtake hydro as the main source of energy for our country. This will now account for 51% energy consumed by Kenyans, as we emphasize on more affordable and environment-friendly energy. I'm happy to inform you that as a result of our strategic investment in geothermal development projects, Kenya is now ranked number 7 in the world in geothermal generation. We are committed to improving this ranking further as we strive to ensure availability of reliable and affordable energy to our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, for us to realize this feat, we have lined up a number of energy generating projects which have made it necessary for the company to undergo a capital restructuring program. The rights issue that we launched in May is part of this program. And at this point, I want to thank the government, especially our peers, our line ministry and treasury for the continued support they've given us. We walked this journey with them, and they have been very supportive, and that's what we've been able to achieve where we've reached where we've reached. We are indeed on the right path to achieving our strategy of delivering 720 megawatts by the year 2020. May I take this opportunity to thank all our shareholders who participated in the rights issue as well as in the RAM. We owe our presence here today to you. I am confident this listing will give you a chance to reap more from the brighter prospects of the company, which will come as a result of revenue diversification. This includes our plan to establish an industrial park at Olkaria, through which we expect industries to consume geothermal steam directly. We also hope to set up a consultancy arm of KenGen to offer consultancy services to energy investors. And we also are providing currently drilling services, and this is another income stream that KenGen is looking at. Besides the industrial park and these others that I've mentioned, we are also involved in carbon asset development that will enable us and certified emission reductions. And this revenue that we get, we normally share with the community in which we are involved in, and this has enhanced the corporate image of KenGen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now with these few remarks that I want to invite, I want to invite Madame to come and make. Okay, let it.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. I think we understand. It's now official that KenGen is listing the biggest rights issue. It came from the NSE chairman, and our chairman has confirmed that. And therefore, at this very juncture, we are edging closer to the hallmark of this event. And I therefore want to invite the PS in the Ministry of Energy, Dr. Engineer Joseph Njoroge. Karibu.
Thank you. Let me start by recognizing our investment secretary, who has a new title of the Director General of Public Investments and Portfolio Management, Esther Koimet, the Chairman of the Board of Directors of KenGen, and the other board members of KenGen, the CEO, Engineer Albert Mogo, the Chairman of the Nairobi Stock Exchange, Mr. Samuel Kimani, the Chairman of the Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Mudaura, the former Chairman of KenGen, Titus Mwananchi, and also the former CEO, Edwin Njoroge, who, as the chairman has said, started this onerous journey of thinking about alternative ways of raising capital. The members of management of KenGen, I can also see the chairman of Geothermal Development Company, Bwana Otaj. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. I should also have recognized very many stakeholders in the stock market. I see here the CEO of Retirement Benefits Authority and my good friend who always does analysis. Indeed, and Jimna, who is one of the board members of NSE. And all other stakeholders. Let me start by expressing my pleasure in joining you this morning in this very important occasion of bell ringing on a journey that we started with the KenGen quite a few years ago. This journey started in December 2013. It was indeed an initiative that we sought to bring on board as alternative ways of raising capital. Recognizing that KenGen had very little headroom to raise any capital, it was therefore necessary to find ways and methods of creating some headroom. And I must say that the success of this important exercise, where KenGen has raised 26.4 billion Kenya shillings, is very remarkable. It has made provision for KenGen to raise almost another over 50 billion in debt, because this is going to translate into equity. And I want to thank the National Treasury for being very positive and listening to us in the sector, and even being able to provide for funds to convert some of the debts that KenGen had obtained as a payoff for the lights issue. Indeed, the government has taken the 100% light in this particular exercise. This is a demonstration of the government's commitment to supporting the infrastructure ministries so that we can create jobs, we can create opportunities for this country and take care of our youth who indeed need a lot of jobs, and even achieve the Vision 2030. You all appreciate and acknowledge that achievement of industrialization as a goal of Vision 2030 relies heavily on infrastructure. Energy being one of them, very key, because energy is an enabler. It's a catalyst for industrialization and for growth. It is indeed very difficult to realize the goals of Vision 2030 without adequate, reliable, cost-effective, affordable, and even competitively priced energy. Those are very critical ingredients of empowerment of the economy towards industrialization. KenGen's ability to successfully plan, construct, and operate power plants is evident in the heavy investments that they have done in Jhelum. Indeed, as the chairman has told us, the installed capacity of Jhelum Energy in KenGen has risen to 514 megawatts, and therefore made this country attain the 7th position in the area of geothermal generation. I think about 2 years ago we were in 10th position. So you can see we are really going up the ladder. And the positive results recorded from this lights issue is also a very clear pointer to the impending massive rollout of geothermal energy projects using funds generated from this issue. The good news is KenGen already has quite some significant volume of steam that is readily available to be converted into electrical energy. And the benefits to the economy of using geothermal energy need not be emphasized. I think in the recent past, as soon as KenGen commissioned 280 megawatts in Okaria, there was a drastic reduction in the cost of energy. I know there are some industrialists who don't like acknowledging that, but the figures don't cheat, they don't lie. The reduction in the total bills ranges from 25% to 30%. industries about 25%. Some of the domestic customers slightly even much better, especially the lifeline tariff has benefited by a reduction of about 30%. And this has happened because of the displacement of fossil fuels by geothermal. And geothermal is our oil. Even though we have discovered oil, geothermal steel is indeed another type of our oil. By displacement of fossil fuels, besides, of course, reducing the cost of energy, we have now been able to reduce the funds that we use to import fossil fuels for generation of power. That, of course, improves the balance of trade because we have reduced the imports. And at the same time, saves the much needed hard currencies so that we can direct those hard currencies to other uses. So this geothermal steel is indeed a very critical national resource, and which definitely will make a big contribution to industrialization in this country. When we launched those 280 megawatts power plants, our dependence on fossil fuel generators reduced from about 35% to less than 10%. At the same time, the contribution of geothermal to the energy mix increased to almost 50%. There is 1 month we actually did about 51%. And as we speak, despite the fact that our installed capacity is 514 megawatts, and hydro installed capacity is almost 800 megawatts, the energy contribution of geothermal is about 50%. The energy contribution of hydro is about 38%. Reason being that geothermal is a sustained source of power. The average availability is about 92 to 96%. We are able to generate throughout. But of course, you know, when it comes to hydro, when we experience months of drought, it means that our hydro generation is decreased. KenGen is also undertaking many other initiatives. I think this initiative of geothermal is the most important. I am aware that there is another wind plant in Meru that is planned and is already undergoing discussions of funding by the AFD. And more importantly, the reliance and the focus of KenGen on geothermal did not just benefit the economy. Concurrent to the benefits to the economy, there was a huge increase of profitability by KenGen. I think that's the first time they started getting 2-digit billions in terms of profitability. And as we go on focusing on this geothermal energy development, I want to assure the shareholders that you have made the wise choice of investing in KenGen share. I have no doubt that energy being a critical catalyst for growth and industrialization, anybody investing in energy shares benefits from sustainability of revenue streams. There is no time when we will do without dependence on energy. And therefore, Besides the reasonable return on investment, I emphasize more on the sustainability of the investment in this energy project. So I would want to encourage investors, shareholders to continue investing in these shares of KenGen. Indeed, I want to congratulate KenGen and the Treasury for making it possible to realize this very good output of this rights issue. 92% and raising 26.4 billion Kenya shillings, as I am told, one of the highest ever raised in the stock market. Besides what KenGen is doing, we are also working on other programs to ensure that we have reliable and competitively priced energy, but more importantly, we also have all Kenyans accessing electrical energy. Considering that electrical energy is the most convenient driver of economic growth, including industrialization, we have found it need to fast track the universal access to electricity by all Kenyans to the year 2020 from the year 2030. That is a 10-year fast tracking. When Vision 2030 was conceptualized, that was the year universal access was supposed to be achieved, but we would want to achieve that universal access by the year 2020. We've already reached about 53% at the moment, and we intend to get to 70% by June 2017. I am sure you have heard of some of the programs we have, like Last Mile Connectivity Project, which is focusing on the last mile customer. The last mile project to connect the customer, whether it's domestic, industry, or even small commercial customers. We are sure that by achieving universal access, we will be able to spur up this country for industrialization. Indeed, most of the urban areas that you see today with the many industries started from just mere access to electricity. And as years go by, more industries keep coming, and those industries help to industrialize the nation. So we are focused more on environment-friendly energy, and I'm glad to hear that the Nairobi Stock Exchange has already started thinking in terms of carbon credits. Our energy consumption from renewable sources is about 90% in this country. And therefore, with that high dependence on renewable energy, we will benefit a lot from that trading in carbon credits, and I would want to encourage you, and even to chip in if you need any expert advice or you need any facilitation from the ministry. We are more than willing to encourage that very important, innovative idea of trading in carbon credits. Let me also congratulate KenGen for this innovation of raising capital, and still challenge them more that the 50 billion that you'll be able to get from this rights issue is not enough for the growth of KenGen. The size of your organization requires massive capital. And of course, you know, geothermal itself requires a lot of capital. And I challenge you to also think in terms of other alternative options of raising capital. That is the only way that you'll be able to sustain growth and benefit the shareholders progressively and sustainably in the future. Let me also thank the stakeholders, especially the shareholders, for taking their rights. We should not take it for granted. we appreciate your confidence in KenGen as an organization that will be sustainable and that will take care of your investments. And indeed, as I say, give you sustainable returns in dividends and even in capital gains. And with those few remarks, it's now my pleasure to invite my sister Esther to come and talk and represent the Cabinet Secretary who is away on official duties and also the PS who is away. But I'm sure Esther will be passing their apologies. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, congratulations for taking this important KenGen share.
Thank you very much, PS. Let me start by giving the apologies of my CS, who, as the PS has said, is actually currently out of the country on official duty, and the PS who could not make it because he had another engagement that came up fairly abruptly. So they sent me here to actually ring the bell, and that is what I'm here to. So, Dr. Engineer Joseph Njoroge, Principal Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, the members of the board of KenGen, the chairman, Mr. Joshua Choge, members of the board of the NSC and the chairman, Mr. Samuel Kimani, Engineer Albert Muga, Chief Executive of KenGen, Titus Mbathi, former chairman NSC, you did a lot with your time. Mr. Njoroge, former CEO of KenGen and also former chairman of the NSC. Mr. Gerishan Otachi, Geothermal Development Corporation. Paul Muthara, CEO Capital Markets Authority. Rose Mambo, CEO CDSC. Mr. Mbaru, who has done a lot for these viewers and for industry in general, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here this morning to represent the CS, as I have said, and to join you on this auspicious occasion of the start of the trading of the KenGen shares following its successful rights issue. Today's event attests to the success of the rights issue and the confidence that the market has in the company. Above all, it demonstrates government's commitment as the principal shareholder to see to it that KenGen is placed in a strong financial position to be able to play its role in the economy. And the PS has really outlined what the role of KenGen is and the importance that it's going to play in terms of getting our economy to move forward. We have no doubt that the impressive results emanating from this rights issue is a clear testament of KenGen's commitment to retain its position as the leading energy generating company in the country. More importantly, the success of the rights issue offers shareholders an opportunity to invest more in new energy projects for good financial return. We'd like to recognize the role of KenGen in deepening the capital markets, starting from its listing way back in 2006. And we recognize the role that was played by the chairman and the CEO at the time, and also the members of the NSC in ensuring that this company was successfully listed. We know that they have used the market also to issue a bond, which was the first one of its kind. And this is really why we listed KenGen, so that it could be able to use the market to raise money for its investments. We also want to note with appreciation the importance of the various measures undertaken by both the CMA and the NSC together with different market players to build a robust and resilient financial market. These include areas relating to capital, liquidity, and margin rules, infrastructure resilience, and among others, all of which complement various measures on promoting high standards of professional conduct, improved corporate governance and disclosure, and retail investor education. We know that it is only by ensuring that we have a robust market that has the confidence of market players that we will really be able to use it to generate the kind of financing that we need for the various entities, and to also bring more entities onto the market to be able to raise financial resources. We will continue to work with industry at large and in designing regular stress tests and ensuring that we have crisis management mechanisms to ensure that our market continues to act in a way that is that supports the role that it's meant to play, and that we remain vigilant in identifying new risks and ensuring that those risks have a proper framework within which they are managed to ensure that we minimize vulnerabilities in our marketplace. Our capital markets will continue to attract a diverse range of players and activities, and it is important that it continues to do that so that we can have a deeper and more elaborate market that can offer various financial instruments to support industry and to support the various listed companies in their capital raising events. We will also continue to benchmark with international standards and to ensure that we are operating in a market that is governed by also international rules and best practices, so that we can have the integrity and the attractiveness even to external investors coming to our market. And that's why the success of this rights issue is not only a new starting point, but also a testament that there is great untapped potential for raising local capital for strong business ventures. More importantly, it is a new commitment in line with our Vision 2030 blueprint, which projects the peak load in the energy to continue growing to 15,000 megawatts by 2030. I don't want to dwell too much on the issues of the energy sector because the PS has outlined quite a number of issues of the energy sector and where the sector is going and the role that KenGen is expected to play. So mine is really to take this opportunity to assure you of the government's commitment to support the energy sector and the capital markets. And I therefore call upon all investors to continue giving the necessary support to help in propelling not just KenGen but also other companies that come to the market to the next level. With these few remarks, I now invite you for a toast to the listing of the KenGen rights issue. Oh, the bell is ringing before we toast. And I told you it's what I was sent to do.
I would like to invite the chairman of KenGen, PS, CEO, Sam, former chairman, and former CEO of KenGen, and also former CEO and chairman of the NSC. Invite Mr. Mbaru. Mr. Mbaru, director. So touching.
You people don't have anything.
Rose Mambo, if you can, to balance out this.
Is that the center? Oh, yeah. All right. Closer.
Okay, and now we'll move to toast. And the chief guest, Esther Komet, is going to lead us in that. Just to give you some assurance, it's still morning, so it's non-alcoholic. It is not having any alcohol content. So all of you are invited. We are going to serve everyone, so the waiters, please, let's do it for everyone in the floor. Make sure you have a glass in your hand. Mkono mtupu, the Swahili said something like that. So make sure we have a glass in the hand for all of us.
Do we all have a drink? To the KenGen rights issue.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I would request to have a few people on the stage remaining. KenGen Chairman, NSC Chairman remain on stage. KenGen MD and CEO, Esther Koimet remain on stage. And the PS Ministry of Energy. NSC CEO, please. Okay, so now let's have the bell. If we can have the bell here. Thank you very much. We still have breakfast outside. You can continue that while something.
you.